Good afternoon, Instagram, or is it evening? So I've been processing the whole Ukraine situation. Let's call it the Ukraine invasion situation, or apparent invasion situation. And there's been a few alarm bells. Certain key bits of information that how could I say, captivated me a little bit in terms of my skepticism in terms of what this is all about. So the first one was George Soros turning around and speaking so wholeheartedly for the people of Ukraine. And I'm thinking, is this the only time where people have suffered an injustice, where there's been, attacks on people's freedoms and, people have been apparently hurt? And I'm thinking, mate, I didn't see George Soros hopping up and speaking about, the tragedy that was happening in Syria when those people were being hurt there, or all of these countries in the Middle East where the kids and the families don't deserve, just because country leaders don't agree with each other. Kids and families don't ever, deserve to go through this, no matter what country they're from. And it's so interesting, all of this dynamic and it's almost mirroring the COVID narrative in terms of just how biased the news is, and just how industry has gotten in bed with so-called, leaders of the world, for instance. Like Dan Murphy saying that they're going to take Russian vodka off the shelves. Stupid shit like that. Propaganda-esque type movements. And you can see it's happening everywhere. And this is why it stinks like to high heaven in terms of what's happening there. And my skepticism is definitely being... I'm definitely becoming very skeptic in terms of what's happening over there, right? And just because of all the support they're getting from all of these celebrities and all of these industry leaders and industry heads and corporates and all of these, big business companies are getting involved, trying to demonize what Russia's doing. So that's the first alarm bell. The second one was seeing how the only bad things we're seeing happening to the people in Ukraine is coming from the media. Very similar to how COVID was being first expressed. How the only times we'd see people getting sick from COVID, the only times we'd see people dying from COVID, was all being propagated by the media. Until the vaccine came out, and then people actually started getting sick from either being around someone who was vaccinated or being, having the vaccine themselves, right? So that's a second alarm bell in my eyes. How come you're not seeing just an influx of just social media that's coming from the Ukraine of all of these people being hurt? How come the only pictures we're seeing are from these mainstream channels again? CNN, NBC, Channel 9, Channel 10, ABC, all of these, monopoly-controlled, elitist, globalist-controlled media are the only ones showing what's actually happening over there. You're telling me not one Ukrainian guy can get on a camera and show what's actually going on through social media at all? Alarm bell number 3. I saw a reporter reporting on the terror that the Ukrainians are currently under whilst people are walking in the street. And she's literally saying, the people here, tensions are high, and there's literally people just going about their daily business. Hundreds of them just walking the street. Like, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. We're just doing our thing. This whole situation just reeks and mirrors the exact same propaganda that we were, that we had to go through in terms of when we're looking at this whole COVID situation. The exact same propaganda where the media is getting involved, but really, ridiculous things being said, like that whole Dan Murphy thing. I just couldn't believe that they want to stop people from being able to buy Russian vodka because of a country is apparently invading another country. Now, the fourth alarm bell is there's indications that shows that the Rothschild bankers actually are in bed with the Ukrainians. So the Rothschild banking system is in bed with the Ukrainians and heavily involved with the Ukrainians. And there's actually articles from the past that show that the Rothschilds got involved with the Ukraine in order, apparently to help them out of their debt or something along those lines. And yeah, you can just see there's just so many alarm bells with all of this situation. Someone says, "Are you a propaganda expert?" I'm not a propaganda expert. I'm just expressing my views, right? So if you don't think that my views line up with what you have to say, then piss off. You don't need to be on this feed. Surely you must have something better to do, right? But I could just see it, the exact same mirroring, exactly what we experienced with COVID. They're doing the exact same thing with the Ukraine, man. And just the ridiculous headlines, how all the corporations are getting involved and, all of a sudden they really give a shit about an injustice happening to the people. All right, where were all these corporations? Where was George Soros when 10 million people a year are dying of starvation? Where are they? Where were these people? Where were they speaking up a bit about this stuff, right? Where were these people? Now all of a sudden they actually give a shit about what happens in the Ukraine. These people have something serious to lose that's happening in that country at the moment. And I'm almost convinced that, yeah, something is going on over there. It's not what the media portrays. And more than likely, it's where these New World Order globalist elitist scumbags more than likely have got a stronghold in terms of their money, more than likely are, where they've got themselves established as their little, satanic little globalist Luciferian stronghold, where it's almost like, they're I don't know what you'd call it, their little city, right, that they've got full control of. And, the Russians are like, you know what? I'm onto these globalist elitist bastards, and they're in the Ukraine. We're going to come after them. I don't understand why we don't see hundreds and hundreds of viral videos from the Ukrainian people of what's actually happening over there if they are being seriously hurt like they're saying. Right? There's just so many alarm bells of this whole situation, man. And to think people have watched this whole COVID bullshit for 2 years and watched the lies and the deception and the deceit through the media and watched the collusion through media and big pharma and watched media alongside government work together with each other to lie through their teeth to the point that the TGA brings out a freedom of information request which is completely redacted, and then to believe that everything happening in Ukraine is exactly as the media portrays. You would have to be a halfwit to believe it, to not question it. You would honestly to believe the fact that we've been lied to all this time and then believe that we need to start lighting candles for what's going on over there, you'd have to be an absolute half-wit, especially when you see George Soros getting behind this shit. That guy is the most evil individual on the planet. If you cut him open, he's probably got black blood inside him. More than likely, the guy is demonic beyond belief. And if that guy is speaking up against the tragedy of a country, you know that there's something going on in that country. And this is just my belief, and this is just my opinion, that these globalist, elitist, scum of the earth motherfuckers, there's something in the Ukraine, something very important to these people, and they are shitting themselves that someone is going in to do something about it. Yeah, that's it's late at night, guys. I'm probably not articulating this stuff as well as I usually would. Probably low on carbs or whatever else. But yeah, it's people really need to stop just looking at what the media shows them, man, and look at this from use some common sense in terms of what's going on with all this, right? So why did Russia wait till now to do this? Why now, after all this time? You think Russia couldn't have gone and done what they wanted to do in Ukraine years ago? Why did they choose now? Why this moment? Seriously, mate, if they wanted to take them, they would have taken them ages ago. Why now? Something is just not right with this whole situation. And the fact that the media is all over this like a bad smell and, actually counting protest numbers correctly now. And, you've got your corporations getting on board and lighting candles or whatever else. Bullshit. I call bullshit to this whole situation, mate. I don't know what it is, but, I call bullshit. Someone asked what's my opinion on Putin. My opinion is this, that he's probably not the best bloke in the world, right? But I don't know, man. The whole situation in terms of how many people are coming, to the aid of, happy to speak out against what Russia's doing, and it's not like, country leaders or whatever else. It's, celebrities and it's the corporations. That's what bothered me the most. Like Dan Murphy's is actually going to lose on an opportunity to make money in a show of support for a country. Really, Dan Murphy's. And all of this time, where all of this other mass genocide was going around the world, right? I.e., places in Africa due to civil war and civil unrest, and all of these other serious unfortunate mass casualty events which have happened across the world. You never got on board, Dan Murphy's, and tried to stop anybody from purchasing anything from your store. And now all of a sudden you want to stop people from being able to buy Russian vodka. You can just see there's something going on. That's all I've got to say. You can just see there's something going on, mate. And the propaganda that's relating to this whole situation is absolutely ridiculous. And I want to see footage, not from the media. I want to see footage from actual people that are in the Ukraine. Right? I want to see actual footage, social media footage, real footage. Not just what the media shows. It's exactly what was happening with the whole COVID situation at the beginning. We're like, where's all the footage of people, actual social media footage from just amateur people filming? The only thing we ever saw in the inception of COVID in the beginning, we were seeing all of the tragedies happening, and it was only through mainstream media channels that we were seeing this stuff. We hardly saw anything come through just your average run-of-the-mill amateur footage from a smartphone or whatever else. It was very rare, very few and far between. And that's exactly what we're seeing from this. That's exactly what we're seeing from this, mate. And that there is alarm bells in my eyes. Yeah. When I see the only people that are showing what's going on over there are these globalist, elitist, monopoly-controlled, media stations, that to me is a red flag. I'm sorry, that's a red flag. And, is there a tragedy happening over there? Is there people being hurt? More than likely, yes. Right? There's something going on. Is it to the degree and the magnitude that the media is painting it as? No. Red flags everywhere in terms of using footage and photos and things from previous reports, which has been shown, which I've seen many different examples of in terms of, like the bomb blast, apparently. Well, apparently that was from a gas explosion. That wasn't a missile attack. The planes. Well, that was from a different footage again. All of these things that they've been showing. The lady that's got one eye that looks like she's got bandaged or whatever else, that was footage that they'd used from a different news report. They're reusing old stock footage and old stock photos. You wouldn't need to do that if you've seriously got a conflict going on over there. You would have photos and video coming out of your ass to show people. You wouldn't need to bring up old stock footage repurposed. So, guys, don't get too caught up in this rubbish, mate. Because if they wanted to take that country, they would have taken it years ago. They would have taken it years ago. Right? There's something going on, mate. And there's something happening And there's something in the Ukraine that George Soros obviously doesn't want them getting. Right? There's something in the Ukraine that obviously these elitist, globalist scumbags don't want being touched over there. Right? And I honestly believe that is one of their first established cities in terms of where they have control of, I mean, absolutely everything, and they have, they're established over there in terms of it's their country. Totally. Yeah. Alright, guys. That's all I got to say, man. Sorry about the, the forgetfulness of the words, whatever else. It's been a long day. Yeah. Probably low on carbs. But people need to just stop looking at this from a face value and really start to look at what vested interests these globalist elitists have in Ukraine, right? And look at whether the Rothschilds are involved with the Ukraine, right? And if you go and look up this information, you're going to find that, yeah, there's definitely something going on here. This isn't exactly what the media is portraying. But, yeah, guys, much love. Yeah, I've been a little bit quiet, man, having a little bit of time to myself. I've been restructuring my podcast to get that up and running very soon. And yeah, a couple of other things. But yeah, that's all I've got to say, guys. Stay safe, stay strong. And yeah, I'm out. See you later.